Hello, everybody. Chris from Sidster Sensibilities coming to you this afternoon. Just wanted to talk a little bit again about parent relationships. This channel, again, is for multiple disabilities students geared to middle school and high school and what we need to do with those kids and the special needs that they really do have. And today's topic is going to be about parent interaction. One of the things that I've learned over all these years is that you've got to get to know your parents. You need to know them as people, and especially them as the caregivers of these children with very, very significant needs. And what is it exactly that they want in an education for their child? It can be very difficult sometimes to discuss some of these matters because we all want what's best for our children, and we all think our children can do amazing, wonderful things, and these kids can. But we also have to be practical about things, and sometimes that's where there's a little bit of stickily going on with parent communication. However, I've found that every year I always try to reach out to my new parents a week or two before school even starts, even if I have reached out to them. High school, middle school, we usually always have a transition meeting with those families at the end of the year, either their fifth grade year going into sixth, or their eighth grade year going into their freshman year, which is how we do it in Colorado. I still like to reach out to those parents and talk to them a little bit, see what's going on. My sixth grade parents especially are a little anxious. Things are very, very different in middle school than they are from elementary school. And it becomes much more difficult for them to understand the fact that their child isn't going to be in the classes with their peers anymore and doing all the things that they had done in elementary school. Middle school and high school are much more content driven and geared. And when you can't read or write or even verbalize, it's very difficult to be in an English, math, science, social studies curriculum with their peers like they have been in the past, with one teacher teaching all content. They stay with them, and their special ed teachers usually just come and do some pullouts here and there. So that's one thing that I found is probably the most difficult in transitioning for our fifth graders into sixth. Again, some states, you're still in sixth grade in elementary, you don't transition till seventh. So it just depends on your state and what you're doing. And the thought is still the same. It's very uneasy for parents because it is a big step, even with a average student, to go from elementary to middle or middle to high. So you have to get to know those parents, and you have to get to know them as people and what they want for their child. So I just am very, very casual in the conversation to start at the beginning of the year, and just, introduce myself, introduce them a little bit more to some of the things that I do in the classroom, because some of my approaches are a little bit different, and I feel that each student comes to us with different needs and different abilities. For our kiddos, I typically do not have a single one in my classroom that is on the same page. I have to differentiate instruction for all of them in different ways and different levels. Some of them can do very basic reading and writing, a little bit of math, but for the most part, my students are all pretty much either kindergarten or lower in their academic needs. So I look at it in a different light than, again, what they might have been doing in elementary school with their parents, and make them realize that we're going to be doing things that are much more practical for them to be able to fit into society and do things, or work in a sheltered work environment, or learn things that they can do for themselves, self-care and hygiene and those types of things. So it's very, very different for these students and these parents as to what they were used to. I do like to use communication logs back and forth to parents if they request them. If not, they have an open line to me all the time, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on how open you are to that type of communication. However, you do still need to set boundaries and let them know that, you know, if you're texting me after a certain time at night or on the weekends, it's going to be a little bit longer for me to get back to you, because otherwise the expectation becomes you're available 24/7. And I'm truly not, and you don't have to be. So just get to know your parents, get to know what they want for their children, and it will become a very, very smooth and cohesive group of people working towards the same goal, and that is the success of their individual student. Thanks again. Talk later.